Now that we've taken a quick look at the movie, just a couple minutes of the movie, we see what goes on. And you noticed Bill and Ted. I can never remember who is who in that movie. Keanu Reeves got up there, and I think he's Ted, and his friend tells him, philosophize with him. And you see Socrates there. Socrates, we kind of know, or you should know, is sort of the father of philosophy, or sometimes thought of the godfather, the guy who really got philosophy going in the West. So they meet him, and Bill tells Ted, philosophize with him. Socrates is, you might say, pontificating. You might not be familiar with the word pontificating, but it's another word to put in your vocabulary. It comes from the word pontiff. Pontiff is another name for the Pope. So somebody who's pontificating is speaking from the Pope's position, getting up and lecturing to people or sermonizing to people. So Socrates is pontificating, just speaking these brilliant thoughts, and Bill tells Ted, philosophize with him, and what does he say? All we are is dust in the wind. Now, where does he get that? It's a lyric in a song, right? Now, is that the way philosophy proceeds? Somebody sits down and comes up with that. How could you possibly have a rational discourse in that way? Obviously, you can't. And it's a misconception that people have about philosophy, that people sit in dark rooms and come up with brilliant thoughts like that. Philosophy is really thinking hard about problems. Maybe another way we could decide which position to adopt is on good looks. We could go back and look at our philosophers and say, gee, the most handsome guy, or maybe we'll ask somebody who's interested in 17th and 18th century men, who is the best looking man there? Or another way is maybe who's the most popular. Obviously, it's not going to work in philosophy. Maybe it works in dating, maybe it works in elections, but in philosophy we're worried about getting to the truth, getting the right answer, getting the answer that we have reason to believe, and in this case, it is just not going to get us to what our objective is. Now, we're going to find out that philosophers present arguments, and the philosophers' arguments, there should be an apostrophe there, the philosophers' arguments will decide which position we ought to adopt. Now, how do we let their arguments decide? Is it, who won the argument, kind of like in the old days where they had trial by combat? We put them on a horse and they joust, and whoever remains standing at the end of the contest wins. Well, that doesn't seem like a really good way. But remember, the goals of philosophical inquiry are to acquire true beliefs, that's only half of it, while at the same time avoiding false beliefs. How do we do that?